Alright, welcome back everybody. I don't usually make videos like this, but the last video I did going over some things with the van seemed pretty popular and there seemed to be a good bit of interest, so I figured that a follow-up video after putting 100,000 miles on the van and living in it on and off for 2 years would be something that some people might be interested in. So I'll start off by saying I'm not going to mention any maintenance like oil change, tires, brakes, filters, any routine maintenance I have left out, to be expected. I also did not record when the problems happened that I'm going to list, so I'm not sure at what mileage exactly, but they are in order that the problems happened, and we'll go from there. So the first main issue I had was having to replace my harmonic balancer. Basically, I was sitting in line at fast food, and the van started to overheat and run pretty bad. I limped home and discovered that the harmonic balancer had basically fallen off the pulley. So I use a backwoods mechanic, and that had the van down for about a day and ended up costing me about $300 in parts and labor. So not the end of the world, but still not necessarily a minor problem. So I was able to take care of that and had a few months without any issues, and was actually on the way to the airport one morning, and the van basically sputtered to a stop, and it would idle, but that's all it would do. So I had it towed to a Ford dealership, and they determined that the throttle positioning sensor went out on it. So that one was a little pricier. That one costed me around $700. So, and then this one is fairly routine, but still worth noting as it's not quite an oil change, tires or brakes. I did have to do a full exhaust on mine. I did that right off the heads. I did that myself with a buddy, and that one ended up costing around $300. The factory muffler was pretty toast, so it was definitely time and definitely made it a lot quieter. This next one was a little bit bigger of an issue that was a little unexpected. So I had actually driven the van back straight from Colorado to Michigan, about a 17-hour drive, and I parked the van for the night, came out in the morning, and it would not start. So I tried all sorts of stuff. I actually put a new starter on it, didn't fix it. Towed it to my mechanic I use, and he determined that the van had gone into theft mode. So through going online and looking at some codes, determined that that was correct. It actually had locked out all diagnostic readers, so you couldn't read codes from it. So I actually had trouble at first finding a Ford dealership that was willing to work on it, but ended up finding one who would take on the challenge, and that one was a more major problem. So the dealership ended up having my van for 5 weeks. They pulled the full dashboard off of it, and they ended up sending some wire harnesses to a bigger city to either be replaced or rebuilt. I'm not sure which one. Definitely above my knowledge of vehicle repair, but that was a major inconvenience. So that was that, and then right at me owning it for 100,000 miles, so right at 180,000, I bought it with about 80,000 on it. I got a code reading misfire in cylinder 2, so I tried replacing the plug, and it didn't seem to help, and so I tried replacing the other 3, and when I pulled them, unfortunately, all 4 coils were full of oil. So I brought it into my mechanic thinking maybe I'd burned a valve or maybe burned a hole through cylinder 2 near the head gasket. And unfortunately learned that I had burned out the exhaust valves in cylinder 2 and was only getting around 20 psi of compression, whereas the other cylinders were giving around 160. So 2 options were have the head rebuilt, which was around a 3-week turnaround time, or go ahead and put a new motor in it, which was about a week turnaround time and only marginally more expensive. So that was the route we ended up taking. So at 180,000, I had my first motor go in the Transit, and we have now installed a new Transit Connect motor with 110,000 from the junkyard. So after labor and parts, with a 6-month warranty, that one came out to $1,200. So that was certainly the biggest sting of the repairs for the van, but considering what we've done to it and the amount of mileage that it has, I think I've fared pretty well. We definitely aren't the nicest to it all the time when we're on the road, and when I'm home, I'm typically commuting an hour each way as well, so there's definitely going to be problems along the way when you use anything that much, but all things considered, still a pretty good vehicle, pretty reliable, and I would still probably recommend the Transit Connect to anyone looking for a good vehicle for solo travel. You could climb out of it, you could kayak out of it, you can hike out of it, and really be fairly comfortable. So to conclude, I guess all in all, I've got about $3,100 in repairs in it in the last couple years, and just over 100,000 miles. Thanks for watching.